You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another awesome episode of Ask Drone U. My name is Paul.
And I'm Rob. And this is episode number 432. Thank you all very much for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate it.
We do really appreciate it. And we really appreciate everyone who is a Drone U member. Because we all know if you want to make money flying drones, you want to travel the world, live the drone life, well, getting your 107 certificate is just the first step. No matter what job that you're doing, you've got to be able to fly well. Whether you're trying to stay in close proximity to a cell tower, whether you're trying to do mapping, or whether you're trying to do video or photos. We all know photos are easy, we all know video is difficult, and we all know that mapping is really easy because all you do is press go. But what happens when you have an emergency? Do you know the fastest way to come down with your drone? Do you know how to handle these emergencies? Do you know about the Vertex ring state? These are all great questions and all things that you'll learn as a member of the Drone U community. So I invite you to become a member, thedroneu.com. And guys, if you have a question, in the Drone U community, there's a private group where you can get your questions answered instantaneously. You don't actually have to wait a long time like you do on the show. We've got a lot of questions, but we absolutely love those questions. And today, we're going to be talking about TB47s, TB48s, and those batteries for your Inspire 1. How do you travel with them? What's the proper way to fly and carry on or check your batteries? And here's a big shout out to Southwest Airlines, by the way.
Cool.
I flew Southwest 4 times in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I got to say, when they ask you about your carry-on and checked luggage, they do actually differentiate lithium batteries from carry-on versus checked baggage, which American Airlines still has not done that. So shame on you, American Airlines. So you're telling people to do the wrong thing, and that could actually cause some problems.
Well, you know what? Southwest is kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. People either love them or they hate them. It's really interesting. Some people hate that you don't have an assigned seat, blah, blah, blah. I pretty much only fly Southwest. I really like them. They usually seem to be sort of ahead of the curve on issues, including this one.
You know what? I was an avid American Airlines user, and before that, United Airlines. I had over 1 million miles on United Airlines rewards points. But I recently moved to Southwest because here's why: I'm not spending $120 on luggage fees every time I fly.
Seriously.
And frankly, you know what? Southwest and American and United, they're all practically the same price, but when you factor in all the fees and everything, Southwest is the cheapest. So
yeah, I guess a lot of people avoid them because, again, of the assigned seating thing. But anyways, this is turning into a Southwest commercial, and
it's
they didn't
not
pay
Southwest.
us.
Let's get right into today's question about traveling with your batteries.
Hey, Paul and my fellow bald-headed brother. This is Tim out in Chicago. And I got a quick question about batteries. In a recent podcast, you mentioned that for your Inspire, you were done with the TB47s and you were only using TB48s, which I agree, that's what I've been buying myself. The question that I have is when you're traveling, from what I understand, and of course I could understand this wrong, that the TSA doesn't mind you bringing as many TB47s as you want on the plane, but they do limit the number of TB48s. So does that mean that you have a bag of TB47s that you bring on the plane with you when you fly for jobs, and you keep the TB48s at home? Or am I misunderstanding what the TSA will and won't allow on the plane as far as carrying your batteries with you? Love the podcast. Keep up the great work, guys, and thanks for helping me out.
Yeah, so you know what I was thinking, Paul, with regards to this question is maybe you could just do a real quick explanation of the technical difference between the two and why the TSA might only want TB47s on planes and not TB48s. Is there really that big of a difference between the two?
There is. The TB47 is 99 watt hours versus the TB48, which is 129 watt hours.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to tell you what the recommendations from the FAA are.
Okay.
And then I'm going to tell you my real life experience, because as most of you know, just like driving law, it could say that, you know, texting and driving is illegal, but then you pull up to a cop and he's texting and driving. So, I mean, it's like,
sure, what's
the black and white? What's society really doing? And I'm not trying to upset the FAA by any means. In fact, I think we have a really good relationship with them right now. But I do want to be honest about my experiences.
Right.
As you guys know, if you are traveling with batteries, whether it's your Phantom 4, Phantom 3, your Mavic, your GoPro Karma drone, whatever it is, You have got to carry the batteries on board the aircraft. You cannot check them. Now, Go Professional Cases, GPC, our friends Rick and Beth over there, awesome people. I love them so much. They make a case specifically for batteries, for carrying on batteries. It is TSA approved. I bought this case. They didn't even give us it as a sponsorship. I just needed one like right away. Because
Is that the invoice that you sent me?
No, that was the invoice for the SD card holders.
Oh, for the card holders. Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Anyway, you've got to have one of these cases if you're traveling, because you need to check your drone and you need to carry on the batteries. It's really simple. So he makes a good point. He says, aren't there supposed to be limits on how many batteries you're supposed to take? So I'm going to read this from the FAA website. Lithium metal batteries are limited to 2 grams of lithium per battery. Lithium ion or rechargeable batteries are limited to a rating of 100 watt hours per battery. These limits allow for nearly all types of lithium batteries used by the average person in their electronic devices. With airline approval, passengers may also carry up to 2 spare larger lithium ion batteries, 101 to 160 watt hours. This size covers the larger aftermarket extended laptop computer batteries and some larger batteries used in professional audio and visual equipment. Hold on. Quantity limits. There are no quantity limits for most batteries, but batteries must be for use by the passenger. Batteries carried for further sale or distribution are prohibited. There is a limit of 2 spare batteries per person for the larger lithium-ion batteries described above. So I'm going to be honest with you. I've never had the issue of bringing on batteries, my TV48s. I normally carry 6 with me.
Just looking at them, is it easy to tell the difference? For somebody,
for
a layman.
If you know what you're looking for, you can tell right away.
Okay.
I've never had a TSA agent ever look at my batteries and say, hey, that battery is too big, that one can't go, because normally I'm carrying like $3,000 of batteries with me.
Well, and size-wise, they're the exact same, because obviously they have to fit into the same slot.
Exactly.
So just eyeing them, unless you know some markers or something.
Yes.
And again, we're not trying to deceive anybody, but ultimately...
And I've been honest, people have asked me before, like, are these lithium-ion batteries? And I'm like, well, technically they're lithium polymer batteries. If you go deep down, they're technically lithium-ion batteries, but try to have a TSA agent explain the difference between a lithium polymer battery and a lithium-ion battery, and they're not going to be able to tell you the difference.
Try to have 99% of the population explain the difference.
True. Okay,
much
fair
less
enough.
a TSA
fair enough. And I'm not trying to pick on TSA either.
Sure.
In fact, the TSA at our local airport is really awesome. And when I went through customs in Phoenix, the guy had seen 4 battery boxes before mine, and he's like, I'm just really happy that you guys care for them properly. Mm-hmm. You're actually doing what's right. He's like, and I asked one person about the limits, and he goes, dude, I probably couldn't even tell you where to find the limits on those things. That being said, I have run across a Drone U member who had a problem in an airport in, I think it was Charlotte, North Carolina. And the guy gave him a warning. He's like, you're not supposed to have this many batteries, but we'll let you go through since you didn't know. But next time, you're only supposed to bring in so many batteries that are over 100 watt hours.
So how did he know they were over? Was this a knowledgeable TSA guy?
This was a knowledgeable TSA guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So the guy asked me, he's like, Paul, is there a way to make it look like they're not 100 watt hours?
I think that's probably crossing a line. So, Tim...
Thermal stickers.
The bottom line...
TB47 thermal stickers.
Damn.
Amazon.com.
Crap. Okay,
I'll
that's
put the link in the show notes.
Oh, gosh. Stop it.
Well,
You're killing us.
No. I mean, like, the FAA should know this, too, because if it's a legitimate problem, which I don't think it is, then they'll now know what to do, okay?
So why do you not think it is?
I don't think it's a legitimate problem because as long as you care for the batteries properly, there's nothing touching the endpoints. You've got them isolated from other batteries. You're carrying them on. I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah.
Here's why I don't think it's a problem. I've done it 20 or 30 times.
Right. So, but it could be the 31st time. So I don't even like that as the reason you don't think it's a problem. It's got to be more technical than that, and I think it is from your perspective.
It is more technical than that.
The key is get the right equipment to take your equipment. Get the darn case. Because you're putting other people, it's not just your life or your safety.
Yeah.
It's the safety of other people. So obviously people aren't going in with a Smith's plastic bag with full of batteries. But there are people that probably are not using what they should be to transport those batteries, and you need to do that.
And see, people may harp on me and say, well, the batteries are clearly over 100 watt hours, and you're only supposed to bring 2 of them. But I think the bigger problem is that a lot of people buying drones don't even know that you're supposed to carry the batteries on the damn plane and not check them in their bags.
Yeah.
I watched 3 people check Phantom 4s onto a Southwest flight, and I was like, no, not on my airplane. So I went up to all of them, and I'm like, they can't check that, they can't check that, they can't check that. And the guy looks at me, he's like, you're a asshole. And I'm like, no. I like my well-being in life. You're supposed to check those batteries. Phantom 4 batteries are over 100 watt hours.
You're not supposed to check those batteries.
Yeah, you're not supposed to check those Phantom 4 batteries. You need to carry them on. And neither the gate agent or the guy could explain to me why that was important. And I'm like, well, let me ask you this. Let's say the pressure from the aircraft squeezes the battery because you dropped it once. What happens if the battery touches oxygen? And the guy looks at me and I go, boom! That's what happens. It melts right through the dang
listeners,
aircraft.
I'm sure that hurt.
It literally, if you read the FAA report, and I believe it's 10150 SAFO is the document.
If that's right, that's ridiculous.
I'm going to Google it right now.
Anyways.
And it's about the FAA's testing of lithium-ion batteries, because the fact of the matter is they practically melt. They heat up and almost reach the melting point of the aluminum on the aircraft. So you're going to burn a hole through the dang thing. Let's see.
And a lot of it is just ignorance, and that's just not an excuse, because you're dealing with people's lives, literally.
Yes, I think I messed up the number. Let's see.
Well, because I would imagine people will actually go searching.
SAFO 10. Oh, there it is. I did. I'm dyslexic. It's FAA SAFO 15010, but also SAFO 16001.
These are the studies that they've done.
Correct.
About the effect of these batteries.
That is correct.
And what can go wrong.
And let me pull one up really quick, and I'll say really clearly, So it even has information for certificate holders if you are, a drone pilot. It says, during ticket purchase and check-in process, inform passengers that spare lithium batteries are prohibited from checked baggage. So I did the right thing. Anyway.
Yeah. Again, so going back to a conversation we've been having about when to tell the FAA, or in this case, tell the TSA or tell the ticket agent, kind of rat somebody out, for lack of a better phrase.
You're
it's
not
when we're dealing.
I
know. Like I
you're
said,
protecting your life. That's not ratting someone out. If someone said that I was ratting them out, I'd punch them in the face and I'd be like, "No, you're risking the lives of everyone here."
Bad choice of words, because you obviously cling to that. The point is, when do you bring it up? It's when people's safety is at stake.
And I wouldn't.
Clearly.
Yeah, I wouldn't punch them in the face. I'm just saying that to be rash. So anyway, those are the documents. You can find all the information there. So just as a follow-up conclusion, if you are traveling with your drone batteries, you need to have a case that isolates the batteries from each other, but also isolates the leads of the battery from anything else. So they can't touch anything. They can't be charged. It's very, 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 very easy. You can only carry on the batteries. You're supposed to not bring more than 2 of the batteries on there. My experience and the experience of many of us is that is not a problem. And I'm saying that because literally this is what's happening. There has been one guy, though, that was asked to, next time not bring as many batteries. The last point I want to make is, if you've ever worked with a serious production company, they don't fly with any of their material. They actually fly themselves out to the event, and about 3 or 4 days before, they have everything shipped out.
Yeah.
So now again, if you're shipping batteries, it's got to be UPS ground or FedEx ground. It can't be in an aircraft. Why? Because it's going in the belly of the aircraft.
Why do you do that if you're crossing an ocean?
Goes on a container ship. I don't know. Call the local DJI store and see if you can work something up with them. Rent batteries. There are countless solutions. Really, I'll be honest with you. I've been on international flights with my batteries, and I've never had a problem.
Where you check them, or you took them on with you?
I always carry my batteries on the plane. Period.
End of story.
Giving you the stare down right
Yes, I'm just asking the questions.
now. Sorry, I've
The
been
people want to know,
The
Paul.
people want to know.
They are not going to know if the
News
questions
team
don't get asked.
assemble. So anyway, I will post a picture too of that production. It's actually a trailer that was LTL freighted out to Worlds with all their equipment. So there are ways to get around it. You just got to be smart. If you're the guy that's like, well, I got a job tomorrow. Well, dude, you can't risk people's lives because you want to make $1,500, or else you may lose your life, end up in jail for 10 years, and have other problems. So just be smart.
Yeah, be smart, plan, consider other people and what your decisions are doing to impact their lives.
Amen. Be considerate. Everyone wants people to be considerate. Even when you're driving down the road and there's some old geriatric guy in the left lane driving slow, got to be considerate.
Yes, you do, Paul.
I'm getting a bumper sticker that says driving slow in the left lane causes more accidents than speeding, which is true statistically. That's going to do it for us today, guys. My name is Paul.
I'm Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.